I'm trying to grind my way to 1,000 platinum trophies while expanding my video game repertoire, and needless to say, this grind is going to take a little bit of time. Okay, it's going to take a long time, but the more people that subscribe to the channel, the faster I can put out these videos. So for my 10th platinum trophy, I decided to take a trip down memory lane and play Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania. Yeah, it's a remake that came out in 2021, but the sentiment is still there. I didn't realize at the time, but this game is tough. Like, really tough. I played the hell out of Super Monkey Ball 1 and 2 on the GameCube back in the day, so I figured the 37 trophies would only take me a few days to earn. But either I wasn't very good at the game when I was a kid, or they just cranked the difficulty up for this remake because it was almost impossible to get the monkey to go through the goal for like 90% of the stages. But it also wasn't quite that simple. Since this game was developed by the same team that makes the Like a Dragon series, they pretty much want you to experience everything there is to do in order to get that platinum trophy. And just like with every other game made by RGG, there's a massive mission list to tackle that'll basically guide you to the platinum. So to kick it off, I headed straight into the story mode and started clearing some stages to knock out some of the 747 missions required for this grind. The first world, Jungle Island, is super straightforward and it's home to some of the easiest stages in the game, which are mostly hold forward and move in a straight line to cross through the goal. But the aesthetics are peak, so that's gotta count for something. But after a quick 10 stage clears, I got the first trophy of the game. Unfortunately, I didn't clear all the missions for this world because most of the story related ones are designed for multiple playthroughs, as they involve various things like obtaining an arbitrary amount of bananas before clearing the stage, or simply clearing the stage as fast as possible. So I decided that I was just gonna clear all the main game stages, then go back for cleanup later so I could somewhat enjoy the grind for this platinum. But next up was World 2, and this is when the stages start to become a little more challenging, which really means I couldn't move forward in a straight line to instantly win. But after another 10 stage clears, I was awarded with another trophy. However, World 3 is when the kid gloves actually came off, as there was one stage I was stuck on for a little bit, but looking back on it, this stage wasn't even hard and I just needed to take my time, which is the real lesson to be learned when playing this game. The timer is really stress inducing, but unless you're specifically going for a speed-based mission, all you really need to do is not take risks and you'll easily clear the stage. Anyway, another 10 levels down meant another trophy added to the collection. The next world on the list was Inside a Well, where the monkeys need to go inside a well for some reason. I forgot to mention that this game does have an actual story to it that's told in short cutscenes that play before and after each world, but I didn't pay attention to any of it, and I must not have paid attention as a kid either, because none of that information is rolling around up in the old noggin. But clearing the goals inside the well earned me the trophy Threading the Needle. World 5 had another stage that I noted as being difficult, and it makes me cringe a little looking back on it, because this stage is actually quite trivial. I will say though, this game has a habit of putting the more challenging levels smack dab in the middle of the stage list for each world. So each one truly feels like a roller coaster, as the beginning and end of the worlds are padded with the easier levels. But after clearing all the amusement park stages, I got, you guessed it, another trophy. I was also switching between the main characters for each world so I could get another trophy for simply using all the characters, so I also earned that trophy during this world. The next one in the story mode adds a new element to the game that seems like a nice refresher at first, but gets a little annoying after a while, and that's puzzle solving. Now, the puzzle solving isn't anything to write home about in this world, and it gets more complex later on. There's really only one stage that includes it in this world, but hey, it still counts. Now, unfortunately, I lost the original footage for stage 7, but it was just more of the same stuff. But you get a different view, so I guess that's important. But while in the washing machine dimension, I earned 2 trophies. One for clearing the world and another for clearing 200 total missions. But remember when I said World 3 is when the game gets challenging? Well, I said that just to have something to yap about, but World 8 is truly when the game takes a massive leap from funny monkey game to, oh my god, I'm about to Hulk smash my controller through my monitor. This world also breaks the cycle of padding the harder stages with easy ones and just immediately front loads all the difficult stages. Up until this point, it's really easy to get lucky and clear stage by accident, but World 8 is the skill check world. So I actually had to learn the physics of the monkey ball in correlation with the stage, because if you don't, the platinum just isn't cut out for you. But once I was able to accomplish that feat, I was able to clear World 8 and get its respective trophy. This is basically how the last 2 worlds went as well, which officially marked the end of the accidental goals and rolling in a straight line, as I was forced to get good at the game. But after a couple hours of falling over and over again, I finally cleared all 100 stages in the story mode and earned 2 more trophies. And after finishing said mode, mode, I had 89,000 points burning a hole in my pocket. So I went to the in-game shop and started purchasing everything that I could, because of course there's a trophy for that. And while I wasn't able to buy everything in that first shopping spree, I did buy all the special modes that have missions hiding in them. But before I even attempted those new modes, there's another section in the main game called Challenge Mode, which is basically the collection of stages from both Super Monkey Ball 1 and Super Monkey Ball 2, but with the Banana Mania physics. Both games have beginner, normal, expert, master, and marathon difficulties, each with their own set of missions that are basically the same with slight variations. Now, Challenge Mode works differently than the story mode, where each stage can be independently selected within the world, and instead each stage is presented back to back to back until you finish them all. But within these different difficulties, you must clear the stages, which is easy enough, clear all the stages without using the helper function, which may as well not exist because once you use it, you're locked out of the trophies anyway, and that sort of defeats the purpose of hunting for the platinum. And then clear all the stages without exceeding the fall count, which every difficulty has a different count associated with it. Clearing all the missions for beginner and normal were pretty easy, but once you get to expert, you have 60 plus missions to clear without falling out of the stages more than 99 times, which basically means no messing around. However, Master is even more difficult than Expert because each stage was designed by Satan himself. Seriously, Master Stage 3 for Super Monkey Ball 1 is brutal. That stage alone took me 2 hours to clear my first time around. So needless to say, I didn't finish all the missions for the challenge modes off rip, so that's another category I had to circle back on. I also didn't even touch Marathon for Super Monkey Ball 1 or 2 because that challenge involves clearing every single stage from beginner all the way to Master without more than 99 fallouts. And I did not want to repeat that. So I did the smart thing and waited to do that during the cleanup phase. Anyway, I was awarded with 8 trophies for clearing beginner, normal, expert, and master without using the helper function for both Super Monkey Ball 1 and Super Monkey Ball 2. I then went on another shopping spree, but unfortunately I didn't have enough points to buy out the in-game store just yet. So I circled back to the main game and started working on the special game modes instead, which are reverse mode, dark banana mode, golden banana mode, original stage mode, and DX mode. Damn, that's a lot of modes. Reverse mode is a collection of levels in which the goal and the starting area are reversed. Crazy, I know. This mode wasn't really difficult, but it's cool nonetheless. Dark banana mode, on the other hand, was super annoying. The objective of this game mode is to clear the stage without rolling into one of the shadowy bananas that are riddled throughout the stages. The mode basically forces you to clear the stage in a very specific way, but after a short while, I unlocked the trophy for clearing all the relevant stages. Now, the mode that directly contrasts dark banana mode is golden banana mode, and instead of avoiding bananas, you have to collect every banana on the stage before rolling through the goal. This mode switches between the typical shorter levels that are on the more challenging side and levels that are so huge that the game gives you enough time to watch all of One Piece while you slowly collect all the bananas before going through the goal. Clearing every stage in this mode didn't get me the trophy, but by the time I was finished with Golden Banana, I had enough points to put the shop out of business for good, which awarded me with another trophy. I also customized all the starting monkeys using those shop items so I could unlock another easy trophy while I was at it. But moving on. The next special mode was Original Stage Mode, which is a collection of stages that appear as they did in the original GameCube releases of Super Monkey Ball 1 and 2. I think this mode is a little unfair because it's just the design of the stages that are original, but not the game physics themselves, so it's a little confusing why this mode was even included. I also didn't get a trophy for clearing it, so it's certified garbage in my book. But to finish up the special playlist was DX Mode, which are the levels that were originally planned for Super Monkey Ball 3 that never came out. But eventually they made their way to Super Monkey Ball Deluxe, which was a PS2 and original Xbox game that also features Super Monkey Ball 1 and 2 stages, which were GameCube exclusive games, but they didn't put Deluxe on a Nintendo console, and I'm definitely still not salty about it. Anyway, the Deluxe levels are pretty trivial and nothing to write home about. The great thing about the special mode is that the hardest mission for each set is to simply clear the stages without the helper function, which I did on my first try, so I wouldn't have a reason to go back to this particular playlist during the cleanup phase. But before I could even worry about that, I needed to head over to the other section of the game and complete all the missions associated with party mode. This is where the mini games live, and there are a few specific trophies for completing some of the ranked challenges that exist for 4 out of the 12 mini games. Monkey Race and Monkey Boat involve completing all the relevant races in under an allotted amount of time, and Monkey Shot and Monkey Target require you to reach a certain goal in order to unlock the 4 trophies. And they're all pretty simple, but doing these ranked missions also helped with clearing most of the missions for each specific minigame, which for the most part were straightforward. Most of the missions require you to beat CPUs on various difficulties, as well as perform certain actions specific to the minigame. For instance, in Monkey Billiards, I had to make certain shots. In Monkey Bowling, I had to bowl a bunch of strikes. And in Monkey Tennis, I had to perform certain power hits. The only missions that made me want to break my controller in half was getting par 72 on all 18 courses in Monkey Golf and beating a pro level CPU in Monkey Soccer. It was definitely a skill issue on my part, but it felt like the game was cheating 99% of the time while I was working towards these missions. But after a while, I cleared all the minigames and unlocked the trophy Life of the Party, as well as the trophy Path to Glory for completing 500 total missions. Now the only thing to do was to make a quick visit to the gallery and click on everything listed for an easy trophy, and then clean up the rest of the missions in the main game. The remaining story mode missions were things like finishing the stages by clearing green and red goals, and gathering some bananas before clearing the stages, which were all relatively easy, and the only one that gave me trouble was clearing the green goal in the stage called Launchers, and I was basically throwing Hail Marys and hoping to get lucky, and it eventually happened. I know everything I've talked about so far doesn't reflect the title of the video, but the real challenge and the real reason less than 250 people have the Platinum Trophy is because of the Super Monkey Ball 1 and the Super Monkey Ball 2 challenge missions. I touched on them a little earlier, but the requirements of completing the marathon stages with less than 99 fallouts is a massive order. Each marathon mode has over 100 stages to conquer, and they must be done back to back. So if there are some levels that are giving you troubles, well, you either have to master those levels or hope you get extremely lucky by the time they pop up. And there's only so many stages that can be skipped by using the green and red goals. But to be honest, those stages are irrelevant anyway and don't really test your skills much. The Super Monkey Ball 1 marathon was fine until the master stages came up because of stage 3, aka Stamina Master. And I'm not proud to admit this, but I had to pull out the jump mechanic for this one, because when I cleared it on the solo master playlist, I got extremely lucky, and there was no way I was going to roll into that luck again. Although I do feel justified using the jump to clear the stage because I cleared it once already, but if you want to call me cringe in the comments, I understand. But clearing Super Monkey Ball 1 Marathon netted me the respective trophy for clearing the challenge mode and another trophy for using 10 green/red goals to skip stages. So now the final thing I needed to do to unlock the Platinum Trophy was to finish out the last few missions within Super Monkey Ball 2's challenge mode, which means another marathon run. And it was pretty rough. I had to do the expert playlist twice because I exceeded the fallout count by a few fallouts my first go around, which meant I had to lock in if I wanted to take on marathon mode. So I went to the practice playlist to tackle the stages I knew were giving me trouble, and then rolled right into marathon mode while taking short breaks every so often so I didn't have a repeat of failing the expert playlist like I did a few hours earlier. And eventually I rolled through the last goal, cleared Super Monkey Ball 2's marathon mode, cried a little bit, and unlocked 3 trophies, including the Platinum. This is by far the most difficult Platinum Trophy I have in my collection now, and honestly, it surprises me that this game doesn't pop up in more of those lists of the hardest Platinum Trophies. But if you made it this far, you must have really enjoyed the video, so don't forget to drop a like and subscribe, and go ahead and watch this video on the screen while you're at it.